This is just celebrated your 89th birthday. Right, Thomas.
My 89th birthday.
Okay. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your school and what it was like attending there, because of course a totally different generation knows absolutely nothing about that. How was your school? Where was it located, and where was it? Like a central location in the city in Scott, or was it?
It was between. No, it was about midway between Scott and Target.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as near as I can remember, about midway.
Was it? How was the city? Was it mostly black? Was it mostly black town, or about half and half?
It was all black except the landowners.
Oh, okay. And did they live in the town there too, or were they, somewhere else?
In the country.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they lived there. Each one lived on his own farm.
Oh, okay. And then you all, what did you do, sharecropper?
Well, now, I wasn't a sharecropper. I mean, my people was. Because my people owned their own plantation.
Oh, okay.
But all around us, adjoining us, was white farmers.
Okay.
And they had sharecroppers.
Okay. When did you? What was your? What was like? Explain a day to me in school. Just an average day that you could have.
Well,
what time would school start?
School would start at 8:30 in the morning. And we would. School would be out around 3:30 in the afternoon. Now the schools were all. I don't know whether I'm getting ahead of you.
No, you just go ahead and.
The schools were all, what do you call it, broken sessions.
Oh, split.
Split sessions. During the wet seasons, school would be closed.
What are those seasons? So it's like, what months were those?
Well, they would, we would go from, I say October until about February, maybe March. They would start, in March they started breaking up the land.
Okay.
To plant the crops.
Right, okay.
And so, of course, school would be out then. And we wouldn't get to go to school anymore until October or November.
Oh, okay.
Of that year.
Okay. What were your teachers like? How were the teachers? Do you have any idea how these particular people got to be chosen to be teachers? Did they?
No, I don't know how they were chosen. But I never experienced but one teacher. I had one teacher the whole time.
Yeah.
It was a man teacher. And
how common were the male teachers in that time? Do you have any idea?
What?
How common were male teachers? Do you have any idea?
Well, now, in the rural, it wasn't, there wasn't too many male teachers.
That's what I kind of figured out.
But they would usually be elderly people.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have no. Well, a young girl would just have to, when she would graduate, she couldn't go right on and go to teaching. She'd have to get some experience.
What kind of, what subjects did you learn in school? What?
Well, we had grammar. And of course it's called English now, but we called it grammar. And we had arithmetic, we had geography, and we had a book we called Mother's Tongue.
What was that?
That was something it was on just a little bit higher than the grammar.
Oh, okay. So it's just like you're reading books?
Kind of like, more like an English book.
Oh, okay.
And we would, when I got that high, then I had to learn to tell the different parts of speech.
Oh, okay. How did they divide up the schools? I mean, I know you're in one school, but how did they divide up the areas? Did they have, like, was it divided on how well you were able to read, or just by your age? Or what I'm trying to see is how the teacher taught all of you at one time?
No, well, I tell you, we, as you said, it was a one-house schoolhouse, one room schoolhouse, and all of the children was in that one room. Now, the teachers graded us. The teachers graded us. She had maybe a first grade class, second grade class, and on up like that. And we did not go any higher than the 8th.
So would you just be like in all the first grades be in one corner and okay?
Not in one corner. No, they were mixed seated together. But when the children called for a certain class, then they would all.
Oh, okay, okay. So how was that? Did that work out okay then? I mean, did you?
Yes, it worked out fine. I went as high as I could go there.
No, 8th grade. Okay. You have any idea how these schools are different from the white schools in that area? Where I know they were a lot better, well, maybe not a whole lot better, but they.
I really don't know.
Okay.
We had one white school, but it was, of course, I don't know anything about how it was conducted or anything about it.
What were the, did you have to buy your books and things like that? Were there anything?
Yes, we had to buy our books. Our parents had to buy our books.
Okay. How much were the books? I know it's kind of...
I can't say just to be exact, but I know they couldn't have cost very much because at that time everything was cheaper than it is now. By far. And so I couldn't say just exactly what they would cost.
Did you ever know of anybody who couldn't go to school because they couldn't afford the books or anything? Or
no.
So that wasn't a problem?
That wasn't any problem.
Okay.
The only problem was that some of the children would just drop out.
Yeah, because what was the usual cause of dropping out? Just work to do on?
Didn't want to go to school.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. I took some notes here and some questions that I wanted to ask you. Okay. What kind of other supplies did you have besides the books? Did you have that the teacher might have used? You know, I know now what we have in my school, or what I had in elementary school. But what else did she have? Did she have stuff that she put on the walls, like the alphabet or anything?
We had a blackboard. And a long. We didn't have a short. We had a long blackboard. Extended at least halfway across that room.
Oh, really? Okay. And
3 or 4 children could work at that blackboard at the same time.
Oh, okay. So that's where you did most of your work and stuff. How did how much apart did you all memorize? Was it a lot of memorization, or was you?
Yeah, we had to memorize quite a bit.
Okay.
And we would have a lot of stories. None don't come to mind right now, but we had a lot of stories, and then we'd have to read those stories. And then we would have to tell the moral of that story. What was that story trying to teach us?
Were the teachers like, well, your teacher, was he like a member of the church and everything there too? So did the church play any part in, you just look at the morals of the stories too? Okay. Did you all have like principals and stuff, or was the teacher the sole governing body of it?
Well, my school was the teacher was the sole governor.
So that was just it. Okay. Who was, okay, do you remember how the, how you had the superintendent, how he operated, the superintendent of schools? It's just...
Well, I tell you, I just don't know anything. I didn't know anything about a superintendent.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I suppose they had one that probably had a district, you know, I mean, directors or something, you know. But I didn't know anything about it.
What did you do for lunch? Would you go back home for lunch or stay there? Or?
No, everybody stayed on the ground. And we had, some of us would have buckets. My mom knew each other's buckets. And sometimes they would just bring them in various ways. But we all had our lunch right down on the ground.
Okay. Let's see. Do you think your education prepared you for what was to come before? I know for a black back then, it wasn't too much one could do after being in school because of segregation and that kind of thing. But do you think it kind of prepared you for what was to come?
Well, I'll tell you, when I finished down there, I had an opportunity that I guess I should not, I know I shouldn't have passed up, because my teacher was going to recommend me. I was the highest student in the room.
Oh, really?
And my teacher was going to recommend me to teach the first and the second grade.
Oh, okay.
And then during the school season, and then I could go to, at that time it was kind of, it was called Branch Normal. And I could go to school out and I passed it up. But
that was what's now.
Suggested.
But
I was too timid, too afraid because I didn't know anybody down there and I'd be down there and I was young and all.
Yeah.
But I tell you what did happen though. My aunt that raised me brought me up here and put me in a private school.
Oh, okay. Now, how was the private school different from what the public school down there?
Oh, it was. We did have 2 rooms. And it was quite a bit of difference in it.
Really? How were the?
We had one man teacher and his wife. One woman teacher and one man teacher.
How was the courses different? You take more courses there? Or?
Well, they were just practically the same, only a little bit, a little
more
bit higher.
So which was better, do you think, the public school or the private school?
I think the public school was
really?
a little bit better.
Why do you think that was?
Well, because our teacher put more emphasis on the things that really matter. He put a lot of emphasis on, first of all, I'm sorry that they don't do that now, but he put emphasis, we studied history. And we studied Arkansas history. We studied no other history but Arkansas.
That's true, we don't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore, and I hate it too.
Yeah,
I think we ought to know something about our state.
That's true. That's true.
And in this private school, they did not teach that. They didn't teach any. Well, they taught a little history, but it was mostly church history, things like that.
What church was it run by? Was it?
Presbyterian.
Oh, okay. Did you have any in the schools particularly? Did you have any kind of interaction with the whites? Any of the?
No.
None at all.
They were all black then.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. When you had your lessons, how did the teacher go about teaching them? let's say a math lesson, how would you be taught?
For an example, I have always hated it. Oh, I hated it worse than any subject.
Picked a good one.
But he would always put an example on the board. And then he would explain to us step by step how it was done. And then he'd ask if, did you understand it? If anybody didn't understand, tell me. Raise your hand. And, of course, if nobody raised their hand, he would erase it off the board and give us another example in the same category, but not that one. So then we would have to go to the blackboard and work that example.
How would you be taught things like history or your grammar? If that was it.
Yeah, now grammar and history was my two favorites.
Went from one extreme to the other.
I loved that until today. Oh, I love history. But we had to memorize so much of it.
Okay.
And also memorize the parts of speech. And the diagrams. And
so you all did diagram sentences and stuff?
Yes.
They still do that? I didn't particularly enjoy that one too much, but he's still doing that.
But I did. I studied and I liked the diagram. And then if anybody would go, and I've forgotten all of it now, but if anybody would break a verb, I'd know it.
Yeah.
And it would just
cringe. Yeah, I know the feeling. There are so many people that just think they know what they're doing and they can't talk.
And there's something that never has left me. And that is somebody will say, what did you do? Where did she go? Or where is she at?
Oh yeah, where is she at?
Know. Oh. I said, behind that preposition at. But anyway, the question was, how did we go about it? Well, we would have to go to the board to diagram a sentence. If it was history, we had to close our books and then tell about whatever it was. From memory. We couldn't look on our books. We had to close our books and leave our seats.
Oh, really?
Be sure that we have to leave our seats. But now the English part, the grammar part, we could get our books to carry those to the blackboard.
I guess because the words and stuff would be different. Just have to.
Yeah. Because the conjunctions and so forth, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. What was discipline like? What if somebody acted up and weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing? What was discipline like?
Our teacher wasn't too mean. I can truthfully say he never, the whole time I was going to school, he never did whip me.
Really?
Never did. Now, he had to whip some of them.
Okay.
But he wasn't bad. He wasn't mean. They have to just look like they were daring him for him to whip.
Oh, really? Yeah. What would did you have school books? What were the school books like? Did they, what kind of information did they cover? How did they, let's see how I could put this. How did the school books progress? Did you have like a set of reading and questions at the end of the chapter, or what would the school books?
Yes, when we'd have our reading, we would always have to comment one way or the other on it, you know. Now, there wasn't any particular questions at the end of it, at the end of that lesson, but the teacher
ask questions.
Would ask questions.
Okay, okay. What were your tests like? Did you how were you graded on your tests or exams or whatever?
Well, we would have a test, but I don't think I don't want to about no grading.
So you didn't?
I didn't have no papers, nothing, you know, like to do now. Making A's and B's and things.
So you just took. So you didn't.
The teacher just would have a test, and after he'd have the test, then he would. Those who should be promoted, he promoted them, and those who didn't, he just kept them in the class.
So you didn't know how well you did according to your grade?
You didn't know this way, you know what if you passed, you know you must have done pretty good.
Okay, so, okay. Did you, if you had younger brothers and sisters, did you hand the books down? Were the books the same ones used just about every year?
I didn't have them, but those that did.
Okay. About how many people were there in your class? Did it increase?
In my class,
well, let's see. Both. In your class, how many?
Now, let me see. There wasn't many in my class because, as I told you, I was high. You know, I don't know why, but I advanced. I don't think I was that smart. Anyway, in my class, there may have been about 3. But in the room, it's about 40, I guess. 35 or 40 kids in the room.
Okay. Did it stay pretty constant all the way through? Did you notice, maybe one year there were 35 and then the next year there were 40? Or did you notice it going up or going down? It just pretty much stayed the same?
They pretty much the same because the people that whose kids, you see, those were just been in a certain area. Because they had other schools that the black children, other black schools that the children attended.
About how many were there in the area?
I mean,
black schools.
As far as I know, there were 2 others.
2 others. What was the name of the school? Do you remember the name, or did it have a name?
Yeah. I think it was Pleasant Valley was one of them.
Really?
I'm not sure. I think it was Pleasant Valley.
Were the schools... Oh, go ahead.
I just started saying the other one was, I don't know what they call it. I heard people call them hicks, that's all I know.
Okay. Were the schools all, did you all do things together, all the schools?
No.
That was your school and that was it?
It was independent of its own.
Did you know of a school, was there any, like now if I go to Central High and I know about Hall High and we have the same curriculum and that kind of thing, there was nothing?
We didn't know anything about what went on in there.
No, really? So it's just totally different. Did the teacher, do you have any idea how your teacher came about teaching in that school? Do you have any idea how he?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was North Carolina. And I don't know. When I knew anything, he was there. I don't know how long he's been there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's me. Okay. Is everything over?
Yeah,
What they doing?
it's not over, but I know. Everybody,
hillbilly songs. She gotta go say that she got her cape on. Her teacher may be white.
She knows that she white. How do you feel about the education today? How do you? I know the most people have a whole lot more opportunities now to succeed and everything. How do you feel about it? Would you go back and do it all over again if you had a chance to?
If I had the opportunity, I'd do everything as far as the schools is concerned as I did then.
Really?
I don't. You didn't ask me this question.
Well, go ahead.
I just don't approve of the way they teach now.
What don't you like about that?
Well, I don't mean the way they teach, but I mean the things that they teach.
Like?
I don't approve.
The
things that they need to be teaching the children. I'm telling you, like I told another group of the interviewee, I think they ought to teach the children the ABCs and leave something for the parents to do. Now, I think that they have gone too far.
Yeah.
In some subjects.
It does kind of seem that way. They have a lot of parents that seem like they just don't want to do anything. They try to put it all on the schools. It's kind of hard to know where the limit is.
I know. I know they do, but
I agree with you, though. I think that if the parents would take, a lot of the parents, see if they would take the initiative to do what they're supposed to do, you wouldn't have that kind of problem.
So, when I was going to school, they taught me reading, writing, and arithmetic. Those are things that are the essentials.
How did they teach you to read? Did you just, they give you a list of words and you teach you to recognize them and stuff?
No, not in that particular way. They give me a list of after I passed CAT and RAT. After I passed that, then they would give me a list of words to pronounce, read and pronounce, spell it. And after I spell it, then pronounce it. That's well. And then from that then I have to start to make sentences.
With those words. What kind of things did you do around the school? I mean, did you have any? I was talking to my grandmother, and she was saying that in her, I think, 7th or 8th grade year, they had a basketball team. Did you have anything outside of the school?
We played games, but never did have no basketball.
I was trying to surprise about myself.
We played baseball.
Did you? Do you have like a field outside?
It wasn't exactly a field, but we just had a large, what you all call them, campus.
Okay, yeah.
And we'd get out there, and the girls and the boys all played ball together.
Okay.
And we played different kinds of games.
How long would you study each subject? Would you during the day? What was the order? Did you have a specific order in what you studied? Would the teacher go do the?
No, we just when I got through with arithmetic, I know what class is coming next. And then I'd get that book and study.
Oh, okay. So you'd be studying maybe while the teacher was going and teaching somebody.
Yeah, while it was with another class, I'd be studying.
Let's see. Had gone to the library to get a lot of information about this kind of thing, and they didn't have a lot of information about Arkansas schools. You know, they have stuff on the one-room schoolhouse or something. It wouldn't focus on Arkansas. And that was one of the requirements for this paper. It had to have something to do with Arkansas, either the past or the present, or something coming up. But it had to be pertaining to Arkansas. So I guess in a way that's promoting a little bit of something about Arkansas. Yeah. Maybe not Arkansas history exactly, but something.
No, and you didn't find. I haven't been able to find Arkansas history.
Really?
I called the Chamber of Commerce, and they couldn't tell me. And then I asked them if they had history of the city of Little Rock. No. And they said, well, you go down to the library and you do some research, you might find it down there.
You might find it.
That's right. And so they sent me some material. But and some of it is about Arkansas. In fact, they have one little booklet there called
Snow. It's an interview. Today is December 22nd, 1987. Ms. Snow, you were a teacher, or a substitute teacher, in one-room schoolhouse. Where was it located?
This school was located in Grady, Arkansas.
In where?
Grady, Arkansas.
Grady. What county is that in?
Lincoln County.
In Lincoln County. Why were you chosen to sub? I mean, what qualifications did they have?
Well, I was known to have been such a brilliant student in school until usually when the teachers were absent, they had to be away, being just one teacher in those schools, they used to get me.
How would you teach the class? I was talking to Miss Johnson about it, and she was telling me how they had, to teach the students all there in one class together.
One room.
Yeah, one room.
That one room. They were in their separate classes from 1 through 6th grade.
This one just went up to 6th grade?
Up to 6th grade. Through the 6th, to the 7th grade, that's all in those schools like that. Went to. And then you just taught each grade.
How did you do it? Would you start with the first grade and go up, or just however it came? Or?
Well, you usually start with the primer, what they call a primer, before you got in first grade.
Okay, so would that kind of correspond to our kindergarten?
Yeah, correspond with the kindergarten.
Okay. How was the room set up? Did you have the blackboards, or?
Oh yes, you have the blackboards and your crayons and your working materials.
What kind of working materials did the students have?
Well, really, the students had books.
Okay.
It was different than what it is now, more or less. You had books and you had homework.
Oh, really? What was the homework? How was the homework?
The homework consisted of an assignment each day.
Would the assignment be a reading assignment? They have to read and come back and tell you
Yes, it's called what the subject was. If it's reading, you did reading. If it was spelling, you spelled. Math, you had math. And
How were the books different from the ones you said they were different than the ones you use today? How were they different? I know they didn't have too many pictures of black people in there like they do. Now they don't have that many now, but at least they have some.
Well, I'm not exposed to them so much today.
Yeah.
Because it has been a long time since I had a child in school. But I noticed one thing in having a grandchild around, Angela Jones, staying here 2 years, and they did go back to the silver birdie.
Yeah. That's right.
Arithmetic, which is known to be one of the best maths ever come through.
Yeah, I went under that too.
And I was glad to see that come back in.
So you taught them, they had those books when you were teaching?
They had the Silverberg math, arithmetic, as they called it. And, well, I started going in high school class, but didn't have other than high school, but in those schools. They had Silverberg arithmetic.
Let's see, what was I going to say? You're talking about the other, the children. How many children were there in the class that you teach in?
let's see, for 6th grade, it was approximately 20, I mean.
20 in the whole?
In the average class. In the average class, which is 6 classes.
Okay.
You had around 100 students in that school.
Oh, okay.
But
in that
class,
one room?
In that one room.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any problems with behavior?
Well, I had some behavior problems, but see, due to the fact I didn't teach every day, and I guess it was a blessed relief they'd want to see me come in, you know, because they had one teacher who had taught there for one of these schools, well, the one I taught, because one of them I didn't, because I was a child myself. You know, I got acquainted with this other school. But Ms. Arnetta Wynn was her name, and she was very strict. Come right on, baby, excuse me.
Oh, okay. We were talking about the teacher and the discipline part. How would you discipline the students if they misbehave?
Well, at that time you were allowed to whip kids. You know, you could whip them if you wanted to.
Right.
But I never hit the one child. One child, I hit 1 or 2 licks once upon a time, and most people were very afraid of his grandmother.
Oh, okay.
And so they instructed me to know they expect her the next day because she'd probably come and hit me. But she was a friend of ours, and I don't know whether she knew what teacher she was going to meet when she got there that day. But she was proud of it, you know, kind of.
You taught me what it was supposed to.
He's one of the older kids, you know, about 13 years old.
I meant to ask you earlier, what years were you teaching in there?
Oh, that was in the 30s, 32 and 33.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I got to ask you. How much were you paid? Do you remember how much you?
No, I got. But I have it in here where the teachers finally were getting $60 a month. But they was getting about $30 a month.
Really? I had gotten some statistics.
In those schools. You know, those little grades like that. Because the high school, they weren't getting over $60.
Right. Well, how many black schools were there in Grady, in that area? Were there?
Just many.
Really?
Just, yeah.
More than? Give me a round number. You mean 10 or?
Yeah, approximately 10. Because each community in that area, it's a large area, and each community had their school. And of course the whites, they just had the one school.
Oh, really? I was talking to Miss Johnson.
And they were bussed in from all over the county.
What were the governing bodies of the schools? I was talking to Miss Johnson, and she couldn't remember if there was a superintendent or anything like that, and I was wondering how was it governed? I know there had to be some type of, well, I don't know there had to be, but...
So, I don't know about the superintendent or whatnot, because it's just the principal of the high school seemed to have been the source of information.
Okay, so you all went
from these schools.
Okay.
I didn't ever attend one of these schools, so I didn't attend that one.
Oh, okay.
I just only attended at high school, junior high school.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't.
Okay. When you like in a typical day, when you would come in the classroom, how would you start the day? Would you just... Well,
we started our day out then with a song, you know. We had devotion.
Okay. And how would you proceed? You just go through...
Just sing a song and assemble the children and they various stories.
Would you have them all, like, all the first graders in one area of the room?
Grades, according to the grades.
So they would be separated?
Yeah, they'd be, you know, separate sections.
Oh, okay.
But join, I don't think they're just saying what school, just all the pews and everything in that same area.
Right. How would you teach things like reading or grammar, things like that? How would you go about that? Would you just read from a book, or would you read it to them and then they have to recognize the words?
No, more or less they had studied or been helped at home, taught at home, evidently. And,
oh, really? Most of the kids have been taught how to read before they...
Except at primer grade, and that was just right out of your ABCs into this primer. And it seemed that the parents had a lot of concern, and I would say we had some of the best teachers who came down
really?
in grade school, in the school I was in. And I still put that all over the county. I mean, it was known all over that area, for as that's concerned. Those schools were just known to be some good schools.
Really?
And had people being competent teachers.
Is that why were all the teachers there? Is that just their home? They just came back and ended up teaching there, or were there other benefits or something that they were coming?
They were most of their home. Some had gone away and gone on to college and gone someplace else, or lived someplace else. Probably wasn't in college at all. But it was mostly local people.
But they just seemed to have
especially in those one-room schools. But now in the high school, we had professors and principals and things came from various. We had one from Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had some big-time people. I mean, from big-time places, but I would say they were very qualified. They had some really stuff in high school.
I was talking to Miss Johnson. She was saying that through her 8 years of in her one-room schoolhouse, she had a male teacher. How common were male teachers back then?
Well, it was very common, because now, really, this summer when I was doing this was primarily when a cousin of mine, and he was a man, Ozan's cousin, Angelo Snow, was teaching this particular school. Because this lady, this Mrs. Arnetta Wynn, what I referred to, she taught there for about 30 years, and from what I could hear, before I knew her. And then she went on into the high school.
And taught there. How was math taught? Did you work on the blackboard a lot? The math problems and stuff?
Yeah, that's on the blackboard, quite a bit. Now, of course, they would have to have the lesson on paper also, but to get up and instruct, sometimes we would use the method of going into the next subject matter for the next day, to explain something to them, giving an introduction of that math lesson, or any other lesson, really, that we felt was necessary to introduce to them and kind of explain something to them.
With the old, like you said before, that you would, when the day started, you usually start with the primer kids. And how, with the other kids, would they usually just be studying then, or doing the homework, or what would they usually be doing?
They would be studying, because when you had recess, it was for all the kids. And other than that, you were studying.
What would they do on
recess?
What would they do on recess? Would you just play or anything? Was there anything?
Yeah, they played like small kids. They played playhouse, playhouses, and there are larger people in the age group on there, which those just going to the 7th grade, those kids, 12, 13 years old, they were there at those kind of schools, but boys shouting out and just things.
I talked to my grandmother, and she had said that in her, I think 7th or 8th grade year, they somehow got some money and got uniforms and had a basketball team. I was wondering if
they had a basketball team at that school, because we played that school.
Oh, really?
Our school, we played this school. They had field and track. I had all this down here. And, we competed. They competed with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so
they were very good.
Okay. How many, what was the name of the school? Do you remember what
That school, particular school, what I said, Lillian, was the Ball School.
The what?
The Ball. B-A-U-G, the Ball. Named after a man who donated this school.
Okay.
the ground for the school.
How was the school year different from what it is now? I was talking to
It's only 6 months.
Oh, really? 6 months?
From November to the first week in May.
First week in May?
That's right.
When I was talking to Miss Johnson again, I was going back to her, she was saying that it went to the first week in March because they had to plant and till the soil, break up the soil and stuff. What was different? She went to school in Scott. Do you have any idea what the difference was in there, or you all just waited
I
later?
guess most communities probably were different now. Probably, I think Scott is primarily a plantation.
Right, that's what she was saying.
And where I was, this was mostly owned by blacks. The blacks mostly owned.
It was mostly a black town.
90% black.
Really?
90% black. And as I had in this little picture that was on it, they what's called well-to-do Negroes, as they call them. Most of them owned a lot of land and they were good livers and this. So they seemed to have high ambition than most people that I talked with from rural areas that I had met.
I can really tell the difference in what you're saying and what she was saying.
It was a cultured town, for a small town. You had to know some music. You know, you just had to know some trades. You had to, you had to learn. You had to practice.
So school was, people went to school. And was there a problem in dropping out? Did a lot of people drop out as they got older?
Well, yeah, some of them dropped out as they got older because the school, what I attended, it just went to the 10th grade then. And then you see when they got 16 or 17 years old, naturally dropped out. I mean, it wasn't the last one they were supposed to go. You know, unless you left town.
Right.
Went out of town.
After the 6th grade in the school you taught, did they usually continue someplace else, or was it just?
Well, as I said, I didn't do no full year teaching, and I said just dropped in, dropped in some, just the minimum amount of time. And I wasn't. I was paid from the one teacher.
Okay. So the teacher paid you out of?
Yeah, I was paid for when they'd be absent. It's not taken.
They usually absent just for like sickness or death or something in the.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to go somewhere, some week or two at a time, something like that from time to time. Because they even, in the high school they had me, teaching for maybe some of the teachers in some of the grades, they had to be somewhere.
Investigation of Mr. Meese by our office.
How far did you go up in school?
10th grade.
10th grade.
Went to all the way.
With the West Tech Corporation and other matters.
How were the grammar books, because math didn't change too much over the years, I guess, but how were the grammar books different? Well, not necessarily different from now, but how were they arranged? What would they study first?
You're talking about in these schools, you're talking about these one-room public schools, which they didn't go to higher than 6 grades.
Right.
And, well, I tell you what, see, when I would take some of them plays, I would fulfill what they were doing. And so it wasn't so much a big problem to me to be trying to work out and decide what I'm going to do.
Right.
I'm carrying out what they wanted. Well, now, what grade did you what subject you asked about them?
The English and grammar.
English and grammar. I guess it's very different to what you all do today, seem to me,
Yeah.
Because the English and grammar were very strict subjects in school then, and you had to know the different parts of speech and how to analyze a sentence, dramatize a sentence.
Diagram.
And I guess you all probably do that now.
We still do some diagram. We usually do diagramming up to about the 10th grade. It's not too much after that.
In these younger grades like this, we start them off English, it's basic foundation, start English and grammar.
Do you have any idea how the black schools, I know that how the black elementary schools were different from the white schools. I know you probably didn't, I don't know whether you had any experience there or not in the white schools or just from like hearsay. Do you have any idea how they were different than?
No, I know one thing evidently was different because my experience to go to the white school with the girl who her father cleaned the school.
Oh, okay, okay.
And their books, it seemed like we were getting the books that they had a year back.
Okay,
The books
okay.
seemed a year back.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you all got some of the hand-me-downs from the...
And of course, I don't know how these people came by these kids get, in these schools.
Mm-hmm.
But see, this is right on another thing, because I'm saying that my personal way we were being done.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know how these kids came by their book, because as I said, I didn't have a teacher's contract.
Right.
And teaching the kids just dropping.
Mm-hmm. Where did you go to school? I'm just interested in. Was it?
I went to that greater school.
Uh-huh.
$606 billion in one package. It locks in 2 years of savings.
Were the kids allowed to keep the books, or were they, the property of the schools after?
They
To achieve all that, Congress agreed on
What were some of what were all the courses that were taught at the time? Were they? Miss Johnson named grammar and arithmetic and geography. What were some of the other courses that were taught at the time? Or were those taught? I know.
Yeah, they were taught. I'm just trying to think in the lower grades, you see, because.
Tonight's other money matters, a Christmas present from Uncle Sam.
We had reading,
Mm-hmm.
had math,
Uh-huh.
spelling, geography, and history.
Mm-hmm. What was the history? Was it American history? Yeah,
They had Arkansas here.
Okay, so you had both.
Mm-hmm.
How much of a factor was memorization? Did kids have a lot to memorize, or were they?
Yes, they did.